Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Gnananjanashalaakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvisheshaya Shunyavadi Paschate Deshatarine. Jayo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Shri Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. हरे कृष्णा एवरीवन.
हरे कृष्णा माताजी.
हरे
कृष्णा
माताजी.
हरे कृष्णा माताजी.
हरे कृष्णा.
हरे कृष्णा माताजी.
हरे कृष्णा. Okay, so today's chapter, I mean to say today's mantra is from 12th to 14th. So before that, let's just recap what we learned in the previous mantras. Okay, so we were studying what all topics we studied. First was invocation, introduction, and then we went to invocation. Then we read that Ishavasyam, right? The Ishavasya spirit, that everything is centered by the Lord. Okay, and now next what we learned from third 1 to 3 mantra, what we learned. Anybody remember? You're not forgetting, right? You're remembering. 1, 2, 3, what we learned. You can raise your hands, I'll unmute. Yes. Nobody? Oh. What we learned, Ishavasyam, right? Nobody remembers. Yes, Charu Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. In mantra 1, we learned about the Ishavasya principle, that everything is own, proprietor is God, the Supreme Personality of God, and everything belongs to God, and we have to use only the quota that is assigned to us.
Yes, thank you.
So, okay. And mantra 2 is like, it will say, if we are following the Ishavasya principle, then even if we are living for 100 years in this material world, then we will not be affected by any karma, any karmic action. So we will be able to live peacefully if we are following the Ishavasya principle.
Okay. And mantra 3?
And it is, mantra 3 talks about the people who does not follow these Ishavasya principle, that is like, it's about the destination of a soul killer. So where will he leads to if he doesn't follow this mantra 1? What is the destination of those persons, those souls who doesn't follow this principle?
Yes, the killer of the soul is explained there. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you. Yes. So after that, what we learned from mantra 4? Mantra 4 to 8, right? We learned mantra 4 to 8. What we learned? Shridha Mataji, yes.
Hare Krishna Mataji. In fourth mantra, we learned that the God is swifter than the wind, than the speed of the wind, and he can come at any place and any time for the welfare of the devotees, and he is faster than even our mind, what we can think of. In mantra 5, we learned that he walks and he does not walk, and we tried to understand this in the fact that like he walks means like if he wishes to descend in a material form of body also, he is not made up of material nature. He is a he's made up of a superior energy, and he descends here, and he walks just to for the welfare of his devotees. And he does not walk means like for Bhakt Prahlada Maharaja, when he wanted to appear for the sake of his welfare, he came out of that pillar itself to manifest himself. So he does not need to literally walk like us. He can come out of the thin air. So that means he walks and he does not walk. And uh, seventh mantra, I think it's seventh mantra was, I think, is about we should see everyone as part and parcel of God. We should be equipoised, and we should not differentiate, for example, between a dog eater, a Brahmin, or a Shudra, or a Kshatriya. And we should see that everyone is part and parcel of a God, because God's entity, that is, we are part of him, and we should see everyone with that eyes only.
True knower. Right?
Yeah.
Hmm.
I think
And
that was the seventh.
Yeah, that was seventh, and eighth is okay.
I think
So
it
that-
was
Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Mantra 6 is Yastu Sarvani Bhutani. So that is mantra 6, not 7, I think, Mataji.
Mantra 6 is
Mantra 6 is Yastu Sarvani Bhutani Atmani Evanu Pashyati Sarva Bhutesu Jatmanam Tatona. It is mantra 6, like seeing
and see the
a
Supreme
dog,
Lord in every.
dog eater, yeah, everywhere. So that is 6, not 7.
And seventh is
7th is a different one. Seventh talks
a
about,
continuation of it. Yeah.
yeah, that's a continuation.
Yeah. Okay, so mantra 8, last one which we learned
So
that day.
mantra 8 is practically that he's talking about that person.
Supreme Personality of Godhead, right? He's all the
Personality of Godhead. He is unembodied. Basically, he is all those great qualities of, all rather the qualities of God, omniscient, beyond reproach, without veins, pure, uncontaminated,
in the
self-sufficient.
translation it is given, right? All these things are given in that.
Yes. This is also part of Mataji, the Bhagwan feature, where we also talk about those six qualities.
Yes. Thank you, Prabhu. Okay. So in the last section, that is from the 9th to 14th, right? I said from the 8th, we took the 8th part, and then in the last class, and then we covered from 9th to 11th, right? 8th is the separate part of that 4 to 8, which we learned. But then after that, 8th we could not complete on that day, so we completed last week. So after the 8th, we took the 9th to 11th. So now I'll just share the screen. Just tell me if it's visible, okay? Ashali Mataji, is it visible?
Yes,
You can write.
Mataji.
Okay, thank you, Mataji. Yes. So these things, okay, so Isopanisad, and all glories to Srila Prabhupada before starting the class. Okay, that is mantra 12 to 14. Today we are going to study. So overview of whole Isopanishad. Let's see. As you all have attempted to this. So mantra 1 to 3. What was it? That is the proprietorship of the Lord and the law of the God. Right? You said about the Ishavasya principle, and then you said about the quota. Right? That was there in the first shloka, and it was the main thing which we learned on that, the mantra 1 session, was about Ishavasya principle of the God. Next we studied the mantra 4 to 7, and 8 we completed last week, right? That 8th one. 1 second. Yes. Okay, mantra 4 to 8, the vision of Mahabhagavata. right? You all said he sees in the equal vision once he understands that the Lord is there everywhere. And next, that was the previous chapter, previous session, that was 9th to 11th we did, but 9 to 14 it is. 9 to 11th we learned in the terms of knowledge, and today we are going to learn in the terms of worship, absolute and relatives. What were the two things which we learned on the basis of education? I said, right? Education were the two types. Yes, Pooja Mataji.
Yes, it is Vidya and Avidya. Vidya is
Yes.
spiritual knowledge and Avidya is material knowledge.
Yes, thank you,
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Vidya cha avidya. We learned in the terms of knowledge about the absolute and the relative. So today we are going to study in terms of worship. What is it? Okay, so next after this we are going to the last section of Isopanisad, that is 15 to 18. Next week we'll be concluding Isopanisad. So prayers at the time of death. Okay, so mantra 9 to 14, the absolute and the relative. So we learned 9 to 11, that is in terms of knowledge. So today we are going to learn in terms of worship. What is it? And how pure devotee, how we can understand Krishna through a pure devotee, we learn today. And these are the shlokas that are given in the in the book. That's the Isopanisad mantras. Okay, one by one, let's see what is it. And these are the meanings. So we learned these three, right? The culture of nuisance, still more so culture of so-called knowledge. We learned yesterday, that means the last previous class, so-called knowledge, that is enter into darkness. So today, that the material knowledge, nowadays what we learn in school and college is the material knowledge. We learned about that will not lead to spiritual progress. Then the culture of knowledge, culture of nuisance, different result. Each of that gives the different result. Learn the process of nescience and the transcendental knowledge side by side. We learned that not just Vidya, Avidya is also required to maintain our body, but at the same time, that should not be the purpose. The purpose should be Vidya, that is the knowledge of the Lord. But side by side, we also need the material knowledge to sustain in this world. So now in the next section, today's section, what we are going to learn, that is worship of the demigods, still more so worshippers of impersonalists enter into darkness. Even in Bhagavad Gita, we learned about this. Krishna says abuddhya, right? The abuddhi, that means they are not very intelligent people. Then worshipping the supreme, worshipping which is not supreme gives different result. And know the personality of Godhead as well as the temporary material creation. Why do we need to understand this material creation if we are spirit soul? If we want to go back to Krishna, then what is the need of understanding this material world also? So that is spoken in the 14th mantra. So here, mantra 12, what is it said? I'll just read from my book because the letters here are, I will fumble with these letters. I'll just read from the book. Adam tama pravishyanti ye sambhutim upasate tato bhuya iva te tamo ya u sambhutya rataha. Okay, so here first two letters of this verse are, first two sentences of this mantra are given here. Adam tama pravishyanti ye sambhutim upasate. Okay, if you have a book in your hand, it's very good. And I think so our temple, they provide books. Okay, in website Harshali Mataji, you can post the book link where they can purchase the books if they don't have. Okay, so They can purchase the books, and at the same time they can also online is always free, but then having books are, it will be very, very good. Okay, so yeah, purchase the books if you don't have. If you have, open the books and start seeing the book, so that you can identify where it is written, where in this PPT, wherever the verses or wherever the statements of Prabhupada are highlighted, you can understand where that particular statement is there in this book purport. Okay, so here what is said here: those who engage in the worship of demigods enter into the darkest region of ignorance, and still more so do the worshippers of impersonal absolute. So now, here the two types of worshippers are said. That is, the one who is worshipping the demigods, and another worshipping the impersonal Brahman. Okay, so why Krishna is why here that it is said, once if you are not worshipping Krishna, rather than you are worshipping any demigods or impersonalism, why it is considered ignorance. Okay, so here Sambhutim, the word Sambhutim upasate. Sambhutim is absolute personality of Godhead, who is absolutely independent of everything. And Asambhutim. Okay, if Sambhutim is this, then what is Asambhutim? Refers to those who have no independent existence. Example, the child dependent on his mother, right? So here the word Asambhutim and Sambhutim are said in this mantra. Why it is said that the Asambhutim are demigods. Now, why are they called Asambhutim? Because they are dependent on Krishna. For us, we think that demigods have their own power, but then if we see clearly that the demigods are getting the power from the Lord himself. So the Lord is not dependent on anything. We learned this, right? Lord is not dependent on anything. He is independent. But demigods are asambhuti because they are dependent on Krishna. Like a child is dependent on his mother, right? If a child wants food, he is dependent on mother because he can't cook anything. If a child is hungry, he should go to his mother, then the mother will feed him, right? So in the same way, demigods have nothing by their own. They have all the power given by Krishna. That we should understand. That is what Asambhutim and Sambhutim is referred here. And Sri Isopanisad points out. Can anybody read this? You can volunteer to read. Yes, Jyoti Mataji.
Sri Isopanisad points out that one who worships the demigods and attains to their material planet still remains in the darkest region of the universe. The whole universe is covered by the gigantic material elements.
Yes. And you continue. Continue, Mataji.
It is just like a coconut covered by a shell and half filled with water. Since its covering is airtight, the darkness within is dense, and therefore the sun and the moon are required for illumination.
Yes, Prabhupada gives a coconut analogy here. So why does he give this coconut analogy? Thank you, Mataji. Yes. So Sri Isopanisad points out that one who worships demigods. So why we consider the demigods worshippers are in ignorance? Because they are just to attain some material benefits from the demigods. Right? Devotees always seek for spiritual things, but one who worships demigod, they are only wanting only material gains, right? And they will definitely going to be residing only in this material planets, because and attains to material planets still remain in the darkest region of universe. So if you are worshipping certain demigod, in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says you will attain that specific planet, right? But that specific planet is still in this material world itself. So demigods, although people are worshipping the demigods, but they are fully ignorant that even though they are worshipping, but that they are still in this material world itself, right? It is whole universe is covered by a gigantic material elements. So Prabhupada here gives the example of a coconut, right? How a coconut is, it's very covered, and the water inside it is, it looks like a dense darkness within, right? And therefore the sun and the moon are required for illumination. But how is Krishna's spiritual world? Na tadbhashete suryo na shashanko na pavakaha yadgatva na nivartante taddama paramam mama. Krishna says, like there is no need of sun. Na shashanko na pavaka, no need of moon, no need of electricity. That is self-illuminated. But this material world, it is dense darkness. Right now it's night in India and there is no sun. This world is fully dark. Because we want sunlight, there is sun. If there is no sun, then it's fully dark. It's an ignorant, right? So here this world is in full dark. It's not that it was morning, the planet is always in light and sometimes darkness come. No, it's whole darkness and sometimes light come here. That is the sunrise, right? So one day if the sun is not rising, or if there is lot of cloud and you cannot even see a ray of sun, it's total dark, pitch dark, right? That is this material world, and we are living in this material world, and darkness means there is a fear, right? That is said here. So here it is said that it's like we need sun and moon to illuminate. This planet is not self-illuminated. Not just this earth, all 14 planetary system, they need sun to illuminate, or they need somewhat light to come from outside, or some light source to be needed. But spiritual world, Krishna says there is no need of sun, there is no need of moon, there is no need of electricity, because it is self-illuminating. Self-illuminating, because Krishna is self-effulgent, and because of his effulgence, the world, it's not, if you see, this material world is very, very tiny compared to the spiritual world. And this whole spiritual world is self-illuminating just by the presence of Krishna there, just by presence of Krishna, right? Here there is no presence of Krishna directly. Because of that, there is darkness. Because we did not want to serve the Lord, we came here, we are putting the back to the Lord. Because of that, there is darkness. Where there is no Krishna, there is darkness. Because Krishna Surya Sama, Maya hoy Andakar, right? Maya is Andakar and Krishna is Surya Sama. Where there is Maya, there is no Krishna. Where there is Krishna, there is no Maya, right? In spiritual world, there is no Mahamaya, and there is only Yoga Maya potency. Here there is full of Mahamaya, and sometimes we get into Krishna consciousness. That is said here. And next, okay, why one cannot know what is absolute truth is by negligence. Why one cannot know who is absolute truth? It is by our negligence, right? The impersonal worshipping, which is actually self-worshipping, is worse than no worshipping. So here it is said that it is cheating people to falsely surrender. So what do you mean by impersonal worshipping? Because there is no person, there is no personal figure, you're worshipping something light, and then after you worship for a certain time, you think that you will also become that light and you will also become that God. That means you're worshipping yourself. That's better than no worship. That's worse than no worship. You don't worship rather than worshipping yourself. don't worship. So here, what demigod worship is still better than impersonal worshiping. Why? Impersonal worship, they worship something light, and then at the end they tell, I am going to merge in that light. That means you are worshipping yourself. That's really bad. Now Krishna says that is still bad, right? In Bhagavad Gita it says impersonal worship is still bad than demigod worship. Demigod worship itself is in the mode of ignorance. Then impersonal worshipping is still more worse than that. Definition. So anybody can read. Yes, Komal Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Definition of the absolute by negation is not complete. Such negative definitions lead one to create a concept of one's own. Thus, one imagines that the absolute must be formless and without qualities, which is Brahman realization, reaching the impersonal effulgence of God, and one cannot make further progress to Bhagavan. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Definition of the absolute truth, absolute by negation is not complete. Such negativity definition leads one to create some concept of one's own, thus imagines that the absolute truth to be formless without qualities. So here the Brahman realization is said, right? How many, what all realizations, that is the God realization, stages of God realization? Neeraja Mataji, the 3 stages of God realization.
Hare Krishna Mataji. First one is Brahman, that is the effulgence of God. And second one is Paramatma, who is situated in everyone's heart, living entities. And third one is finally Bhagavan, the absolute personality of Godhead.
Yes. So here, thank you, Mataji. So here it is said that one who is situated in this Brahman effulgence, Brahman worshipping, he cannot make further progress to Bhagavan, because Brahman is, it is said, it is, we call it as the first, but then it is the lowest, it's the least, right? Devotees reject this Brahman satisfaction, or right, the mukti stage, they just neglect, right? They just don't want that. Why? It's almost like in the mode of ignorance, because they are worshipping themselves. They think that God has no form, and they worship the impersonal Brahman, and then there is no open to the Paramatma feature or the Bhagavan feature. Okay, so devotees derive these things. The supreme supreme truth is realized in the 3 aspects: the impersonal Brahman, localized Paramatma, and at last as the supreme personality of Godhead. At the last stage is understanding the absolute truth. One comes to the supreme personality of Godhead. Right? So one comes to the supreme personality of Godhead in the stage of Bhagavan. That's the absolute truth. But then these impersonalities, they neglect this part, that the Lord has Satchid Ananda Vigraha. They neglect this form of the Lord, and then they stay in the least, that is the Brahman effulgence. It's the effulgence coming from the Lord's body. That's just that. But then when you still further go near, then you come to know about the Paramatma feature. But then still further, when you come to know that Lord just does not have a form, he also has pastimes, right? The Leela of the Lord, the Rupa and the Leela of the Lord. Once you come to understand this position, then it's the absolute truth. And at that time, you go back to Krishna. You are situated in the absolute inner satisfaction, that is understanding the supreme personality of Godhead. Okay, so here worshipping in Bhagavad Gita, right? Krishna in the 7th chapter, he tells so many things about demigod worship and impersonal worship. So he says that, what does he say? Those whose intelligence have been stolen by the material desire surrender unto demigods. They follow the particular rules and regulation of the worship according to their own nature. Krishna says they worship according to their own nature. Some demigods, they worship just for satisfaction, but they do not worship the absolute truth. That's Krishna. Some material desire they have, for that sake they go right to the Devi. They go Dehi. Why? Give me, give me. They just go to the Devi Devatas just to ask, give me, give me. But devotees, what they also go to demigods, but why? They ask Krishna Bhakti from the demigods, because they are demigods and they have much realization than these normal living entities. But then when we ask Krishna Bhakti from the Devi Devatas, they will be certainly happy and they will help you in the path of spiritual realization. But then the material people, the karmis, they go to the demigods for sense gratification. And how is that sense gratification? It is for temporary benefit. They follow rules and regulation, the karma kanda process they follow, but then for what? For material desires, not for akama. They do karma kanda. So next, what does Krishna says here in 7.23? Men of small intelligence worship the demigods and their fruits are limited and are temporary. As I said, it's very temporary when we go to demigods, because they are given by Krishna. The energy for the demigods are given by Krishna, and for everything they have to get sanction from Krishna, right? But my devotee ultimately reaches to the supreme planets. So demigods, they go to their planets, the demigods planets, but Krishna's devotees, they go to the supreme planet, because they don't have any other desire from serving the Lord. So here the impersonalists have been explained. Okay, so anybody can read. Yes, Raja Lakshmi Mataji.
Krishna.
Yes, can you read, Mataji?
Yes, Mat. The ignorant pseudo-religionists and
Manufacturers.
so-called incarnations who direct functions are liable to region of the mislead. These impersonalists generally pose themselves as incarnation of God to foolish of Vedic wisdom. Dangerous in their self.
Okay. Thank you, Mataji. I don't know, it was just for me or the voice was breaking. Actually, I don't know. Okay, I'll read it again. The ignorant pseudo-religionist and the manufacturer of so-called incarnation who directly violate the Vedic injunctions are liable to enter into the darkest region of the universe, because they misled those who follow them. The impersonalists generally pose themselves as the incarnation of the God to foolish persons who have no knowledge about the Vedic wisdom. If such foolish men have any knowledge at all, it is more dangerous than in their hands than ignorance itself. So here in the 12th verse, the purport, Srila Prabhupada writes about the pseudo-religionist. Okay, so what they do, they don't want to get out of this universe, but maintain the status quo in the material world. They do some, they manufacture some incarnations. I am the incarnation, right? Many of them in this Kali Yuga, when they came to know, in the scriptures, there is the mention of Kalki avatar, that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is going to come in the Kalki avatar. Many of them, they read that and they told that I am Kalki, and many of them, they started saying that these are stupid people, but then they are atheist. Why? They are not they do not believe in the God, then they tell themselves as the God. And secondly, who are going to support them? They are the foolish people. Foolish people, right? Foolish people are liked by foolish people. So here they have neither knowledge or nor detachment from the material affairs, becoming so-called acharyas without following principles. Or sometimes they don't tell themselves of the God, but they tell they are the representative of the God, but then they don't know anything about the scriptures. They don't teach anything. Some of them, they tell I am the guru, and they don't know Bhagavad Gita. They don't know Bhagavad Gita, which is directly stated by Krishna. What do you mean by Bhagavad Gita? It is Gita from Lord's lotus mouth. And they don't know, or they do not accept the Vedic injunctions. They do not accept the Shastras. They do not accept Bhagavad Gita. They do not accept Bhagavatam, and they tell themselves as the gurus. So they are highly seen in Kali Yuga. And who follows them? They are followed by the foolish people who are atheist, because they also do not want to encourage Vedic scriptures, because there that is strictly written you have to surrender to the Supreme Lord, and atheists, they do not want to surrender to the Supreme Lord. Because of that, they follow such bogus gurus, or Prabhupada says they are bogus, because they do not give the real truth to people. So the path of salvation from the material clutches fully depends upon the principal knowledge and the detachment gained from serving the Lord. Or how we are going to get out of this, the clutches of Maya, that is only by serving the Lord. A pseudo-religionists have neither of those. Either they have to understand the Vedic scriptures and follow the acharyas, the disciplic succession. Either they have to do the devotional service to the Lord. But the pseudo-religionists do nothing of that. They tell themselves as the God. These are the fake gurus, right? They says, just believe me, everything will be good. I will do these things to you, and just believe me, right? Give me so and so money, I'll give whatever you want. They might have some yogic powers. They do some magics, and foolish people, they take them as their gurus, right? So here it is said. And then what was Prabhupada's mood and mission here? So Prabhupada, in the purport, he says, these rogues are most dangerous element in the human society. Why? Because some of them, they know the Vedic Shastras, they read the Shastra, they read Bhagavad Gita, but then they try to interpret that. They do not want to give whatever Krishna has given to us, the absolute knowledge. They do not want to give. Rather, they tell you are God, I am God, and everyone is God. Everyone who is moving on the road street, he is also God. Who is doing the yogic nature, he is also God. You are also God. You are foolish number one, still you are a God. I am foolish number one, I am also God. They are telling telling in that way. Okay, such gurus are bogus. Here Prabhupada says these rogues are most dangerous elements in the human society. Why? They mislead the public. That's why Prabhupada came with Bhagavad Gita as it is. Why? To stop this business of misleading people. And that's why Prabhupada came to the West, and that's why he wrote in English, because many of the gurus, so-called gurus, they went to America. They, in the name of religion, they wanted all kind of luxuries. They did everything, but then at the end, they showed their true color. That is, they are not from any parampara. That's a wrong parampara, and declare in the Gitas that the envious demons in the grab of religion propagandist shall be thrown into the darkest region of hell. Right? Krishna says in the 16th chapter, such demons, Daivasura, Sampad Vibhaga Yoga, right? Daiva Asura, Asuras, where they go? They go to hell. They are thrown to the hell. Krishna says, I will throw them to the hell. That means their life will become such a hell. Not just they just go to the hell and do such do pachatap and come back. No, their life itself becomes like a hell. Okay, Sri Isopanisad confirms that these pseudo religionists are heading towards the most obnoxious place in the universe after the completion of their spiritual master business, which they conduct simply for sense gratification. So here, once these people finish their business, that means once they die, so-called gurus, they go to hellish planets. They go to hellish planets, not just they, the followers, the disciples of such bogus guru or those rogues will also go to hellish planets. Some people, they call themselves as Krishna's personal avatars. They call themselves as so many things in the past we have heard. And these people, the followers who are following them, they are also foolish. Number one, some people, they want to be fooled, that's why they go to such gurus. They go to such gurus because they want to get fooled. But thank God we are in the right parampara, right? Prabhupada gave us everything that is wanted, and we are not just believing blindly, rather we know what Shastra says and we try to be in that regulative principles what Prabhupada has given to us, right? That is said here, that these people just want for sense gratification. So here in the mantra 13, the translation is, it is said that one result is obtained by worshipping the supreme cause of all the causes, and another result is obtained by the worshipping what is not supreme. All this is heard from the undisturbed authority who clearly explained it. Here, once we understood about the guru, now we understand about the authority. Sambhavat and Asambhavat. What do you mean by Sambhavat? The worshipping the Supreme Lord, that is cause of all causes. And what is Asambhavat? By worshipping what is not supreme. By different types of worshipper, one achieves different result. Right? Different things gives us different result. The same way, what we worship gives the certain type of results to us. Nowhere in the Shastra it is said that the worshipping anyone or doing anything, one can achieve the result, reaches the same goal. Right? Somebody asked Prabhupada that if I worship or if I go do things in a different ways, or I worship different beings, all these different ways will reach the same goal. Prabhupada said no. Why? Everything has its own destiny, right? A own goal. This is only said by the self-made spiritual masters without connection with parampara. Some people say you worship anything, it will you at the end you will go to Krishna. No, only people who are foolish, they try to think like that. Oh, if I chant, if I do anything, I'll go back to Krishna. It just should be in the mode of goodness, or it should not be in the mode of tamas. Whatever I do in mode of goodness, I'll go back to Krishna. No. Who am I'll worship, I will go back to Krishna. No. That is some people, they say because they do not know the parampara. So importance of parampara we should know. Importance of guru, sadhu and shastra. What is the importance in our life? We should know. Can anybody read this?
Hare Krishna. In modern times, the number of such pretenders has increased considerably, and it has become a problem for the pure devotees of the Lord to save the masses of people from the unholy propaganda of these pretenders and pseudo incarnations. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Yes. So we see so many pretenders, mithyacharis. Right? Krishna says such a pretenders are mithyacharis, and they tell themselves as very good gurus, or I am an avatar, I am the incarnation of the Lord, and so many things. But then they are humans. Somebody came to Prabhupada and he told Prabhupada, I'm a god. I'm God. Who are you to tell that only Krishna is God? I am God. And Prabhupada did not tell anything at that moment. He called us cook, and he said, bring all the offerings that were made to Krishna. That's the Chappan Bhog. The Raj Bhog or the Chappan Bhog was prepared, and this so-called God, incarnated God, was being seated in a place. And Prabhupada said, please supply all these things to that so-called God. And he saw so many dishes. The table was full with all the dishes. And Prabhupada said, now, my dear so-called God, now eat all these foodstuffs, all this. He said, no, I will eat only little, right? I can't eat all these things. Why? Krishna and Balram, they eat all these things. They eat, personally, they eat. They do not even let a leaf be in that plate. They will eat everything in this plate. So you are a god. You claim that you are a god, then eat everything. And devotees, disciples forced him to eat all the dishes, and he could not control his stomach. He went to the washroom and he was seated there. And Prabhupada, in anger, he said, now tell you're the servant of the God. And he was like, no, I won't tell. Prabhupada told, if you don't tell, I won't let you out from this washroom. I won't let you out. He locked it. And he was forced by Srila Prabhupada to tell that he is a servant of the God, because it is truth. He is the servant of the God, but he is now claiming that he's the God. Then at last that person, he said, Prabhupada, please leave me out. I agree, I am the servant of the Lord, and I'll never tell that I am a God. No, I will never. And he surrendered to Krishna. And Prabhupada was like, such a God who can't even eat all these things, and suddenly he gets a loose motion and get out. Such a God is not a God, because Krishna never does these things. Krishna eats because he's unlimited. Whatever you give in devotion, he takes it, little or huge, he takes it. But if we claim that I am a God, I am an incarnation, then you do these things and show me. You can't, because you are a small living entity in front of a huge, unlimited God. Right? So here Prabhupada gives in this purport analogy that not every road leads to Rome. So here people may ask, whatever I do, I will go back to Krishna. But Prabhupada says, no, you take a ticket to Maharashtra or Mumbai and you can't reach Delhi, right? You will definitely reach Mumbai. If you take ticket to Delhi, if you have reached to Delhi, then see your ticket. It must be written Delhi, right? If you want to reach America, you can't reach Africa. You have taken the ticket for America, you will definitely land in America, not Africa, right? So in the same way, whoever you are worshipping, you can't land to Goloka. You will land to their own planet, their planets. If you are worshipping sun god, you will go back to sun planet. You will go there. But if you worship Krishna, you will definitely go back to the Golok Vrindavan. So here, Prabhupada gives the analogy of this. So who is a guru? The genuine guru is the God's representative, and he speaks about God and nothing else. Okay, the system of hearing from authority. Right? How is our spiritual life begins? From Shravanam. Shravanam and Kirtanam goes side in side, right? Shravanam. But from whom we have to do Shravanam? There are people who do Bhagavatam Sapta. There are people who just sing the Kirtans in a Bollywood way or some filmy way. We should hear to those people, or we should hear to bona fide spiritual master who speak the truth about the absolute truth, whom we have to hear. So here the importance of hearing from the authority is said. Can anybody read this? Yes, Pooja Mataji. Puja Mataji. Siddharth Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji. System of hearing from authorities. Unless one hears from Acharya, who is never disturbed by the changes of material world, one cannot have the key to transcendental knowledge. Bona fide Acharya never presents anything that is not mentioned in the Vedic literature. Hare Krishna.
Yes, thank you, Prabhu. So here, bona fide acharyas never present anything that is not mentioned in Vedic literature. So who is the best example? That is Srila Prabhupada, right? Our business is to raise ourselves in the highest state of life as preachers of Krishna's message. So this ISKCON moment is actually the preaching moment. It is predicted by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, right? Each and every village and town in the world will be taught about Krishna. They will chant Krishna's name. So how it is done? Through preaching. Okay. So one should behave himself rigidly, then he should instruct others. So we understood in who can become the spiritual master, right? Who is controlled in all his vegas, right? Vegam, urges of his sense pleasure, right? Who has controlled all his urges of sense pleasure, he can become the guru of the Vishwa, right? The whole world. He can make his disciples. That's Srila Prabhupada, right? He made whole world, people of whole world as his disciples. How? By controlling the 6 urges. Not only that, he was from Parampara, right? Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that Parampara is very, very important. Evam Parampara Praptam Evam Rajasayo Viduhu. Only by Parampara we can understand that Lord's true knowledge. So Prabhupada systematically proves the Supreme Personality of Godhead from the Shastras. So anybody can read? Yes, Puja Mataji. Vijaya Mataji. Neeraja Mataji. Okay.
The Vedic
Vijaya
literature
Mataji.
Krishna Mataji. Vedic literature confirms Narayana, Krishna, as the cause of all causes. Prabhupada does is in a systematic way, starting with Vedas, Upanishads, Itihasas, Brahma Samhita, which is a class of its own found by Lord Chaitanya. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Okay. So here we know that Prabhupada did it in a systematic way, starting with Vedas, Upanishad, Itihasas, Brahma Samhita, which in the class of its own found by Lord Chaitanya. So Brahma Samhita, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu brought from the south. When he came for Chaturmas in the south, he took the Brahma Samhita. So here the Prabhupada gave us in a systematic way, right? He is the cause of all causes. In Brahma Samhita it is said, no, Krishna is the cause of all causes. Sarva Karana Karanam. And the source of all spiritual and material world. Everything emanates from me, and the wise who perfectly know this engage in the devotional service and worship with all their hearts. Watering the root analogy. So once though if we take devotional service, Krishna helps within the heart. Dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayanti te. Krishna says, once you do the devotional service, dadami buddhi yogam, I will give you the intelligence from which you can come to me. Right? If you really want to do something for humanity, then actually work. You have to worship Krishna. If you want to give something to the humanity, then the best thing you can give is Krishna consciousness, right? People, their life has been changed. They tell their life has changed. How? Because of Krishna consciousness. Their lifestyle has changed. How? Because of Krishna consciousness. So analogy of watering the root, false attempt to spiritual leader for worshipping the demigods and humanity are like watering leaves instead of roots, and everything dries want of nourishment. Real service of humanity is rendered when one teaches the surrender and worship of the Supreme Lord. So here, if you are just watering the leaves, will the tree be sustained for a long time? No, it will dry up and it will die. So here, people from some bogus guru, they tell whoever you worship, you will go back to Krishna, but then it's not true. Why? Because uh, because nothing, because they are just leaves. The root is Krishna, right? All the demigods are coming from Krishna. Root is Krishna. If you are only telling that I can worship any demigod and go back to Krishna, then it's not true. If you tell I want to worship Krishna, then you can certainly go back to Krishna. Okay, so here this is said. This is just as pouring water on the root of a tree energizes the trunk, branches, wings, and everything else, as the supply of food to the stomach enlivens the senses and the limbs of the body. Simply worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead through the devotional service automatically satisfy the demigods, who are the parts of that Supreme Personality. Right? In the Vishwarupa form, we saw Arjuna saying that Krishna, all the demigods are going inside your each part of the body. Right? Arjuna saw that. That means demigods are actually the part and limbs of Krishna in Vishwarupa form. So the energies of the demigod is given by Krishna. That when we eat something, we put inside the mouth and it goes to the stomach, and in the stomach, after it gets digested, the energy, the glucose is supplied to all the parts of the body. In the similar way, when we worship Krishna, all the parts, that means all the demigods, are satisfied. When you keep the flower, you have only one flower and you have so many demigods, all the photos are there, and middle is Krishna. When you offer one flower to that one single flower to Krishna, all the demigods are satisfied. Why? They are limbs and parts of Krishna. So here Buddha and Abudaya is said. So Buddha means learned, not Buddha. This is Buddha. Buddha means learned. Even this from know this from the evidence given by the sages and Vedas. Buddhas are people like Arjuna who hear Vedic knowledge of Bhagavad Gita from the Supreme Person. Okay, and before hearing Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna was philanthropist, a pacifist, right? So many ways Arjuna was bewildered. But then after what happened? He worshipped the Supreme Lord by fighting. Because Krishna wanted Arjuna to fight, that was a desire of the Supreme Lord. When we fulfill the desire of the Supreme Lord or the devotees of the Supreme Lord, then the Lord is pleased by our work. That is the activity. Right? The relationship of the disciple is his with his spiritual master is a good relationship as relationship with the Supreme Lord. A spiritual master always represents himself as the humblest servitor of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but the disciple must look upon him as the manifestation of the representation of the Godhead. So all the gurus who are bona fide gurus, they are actually the representatives of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But they think they think themselves as they themselves see as the humblest servitor of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But we should not take them lightly. We should always see that they are representation of the Godhead. That's why we do Vyas pujas on the appearance and disappearance of the gurus, Guru Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada. Why? We make abhisheka of their vigrahas. Why? Because we give equal. Whatever we do in Krishna Janmashtami, we do abhisheka for the Lord. And next day, Vyas Puja of Srila Prabhupada, we do the Abhisheka of Srila Prabhupada. But then why we do? Srila Prabhupada, the Guru Maharaj, or the Srila Prabhupada, what they do? Whatever respect we give to Gurus, they will take to Krishna. Whatever we offer to Gurus as the service, they'll take it to Krishna. Because we can't directly serve Krishna, but through a bona fide spiritual master, we serve. Even while we keep bhoga to the Lord, first we offer, we chant Guru Pranam mantra, then we chant Panchatattva or Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mantra, then we chant Panchatattva, then we tell Hare Krishna Maha mantra, Krishna's, and then the Hare Krishna Maha mantra. Because by the procedure, we have to first offer it to the Guru, then the Guru will take it to, in the disciplic succession, the Guru will take it to his Guru, and his Guru will take it to his, like that, the disciplic succession. Ultimately, if it's a bona fide spiritual master, and if it's a bona fide sampradaya, then you're definitely going back to Krishna. So Prabhupada, his Guru Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj, and his Guru. So here, the disciplic succession is seen, and ultimately it will go to Krishna. And even while we are honoring Bhoga, first it comes through, it give the Krishna gives to Brahma, Brahma gives to Narada, and Narada takes all this remnants, all the Brahma first takes the remnants of the prasad, then takes Narada, then takes, like this, the Vyasa. So in this way, the prasad also comes through mercy, and when it comes to the through the Guru, who is the pure devotee, it becomes Mahaprasad. So we should not forget to offer it to Guru, and then Guru will take it to Krishna. And when Krishna gives prasadam, Krishna gives it to Guru, and after Guru has it, after the bona fide spiritual master has the remnants of the prasad, then you can take it. So who is Abudaya here? So Budaya is one who hears from bona fide spiritual master, who is the representative of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Abudaya is the impersonalist. People destroy themselves. Yata mata tata pata. So do whatever you wish. There are as many ways as possible, but it is not the fact. They say whatever you want, you wish, whatever. The light, okay, light you wish, you will go back to Krishna. No, it won't. That's not a fact. So Krishna, what does he say in the 9th chapter? He says, fools deride me when I descend, right? The Abudaya people, fools, they take Krishna. Oh, Krishna was impersonalist before, then he came in the human form, and then when he disappeared, he became impersonal. No, this is Abudaya. These people, they do not know the fact. Krishna was Sachidananda Vigraha from the beginning. There is no beginning for Krishna itself. So here it said, then one should, so here the mantra 14, we can quickly wind up. One should know the perfectly the supreme, the personality of Goddess Shri Krishna and his transcendental name, form, qualities, and the pastime, as well as the temporary material creation, its temporary demigods, men and animals. When one knows these, he surpasses death and ephemeral is a cosmic manifestation with it, and in eternal kingdom of the God, he enjoys the eternal life of bliss and knowledge. So why do we need to know about material creation? In this verse, it is said material creation. Why do we need to know about this? Why should I know about this material cosmos? Yes, Lakshmi Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Until and unless we know the value of the material creation and everything, we cannot know about Krishna. It is only Krishna who has created this material cosmos. We can appreciate what he has given us, and we can immediately know more about Lord Krishna.
Okay, thank you, Mataji. Dinesh Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Dinesh Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji. It is just for discrimination between what is material and what is spiritual. There have to be two things to for comparison. So creation both creations are Lord's creation, material creation as well as the spiritual creation. And whatever material creation Lord has given us, they should be just used for developing Krishna consciousness and devotional service of Krishna, only not for sense gratification. That is why material creation has been created by God.
Thank you, Prabhu. Yes, thank you. Yes. Okay. Yes. Why it is important to also know Krishna's material creation, right? In the 15th chapter, we learned this. Urdhvamulam adashakam, right? The material creation, the desire is the root, and the material creation happens. We understood this, and through the detachment, weapon of detachment, we can cut this material world. So here, why we should know about the material creation? What is the need of knowing the material creation? That is, first you said, Mataji, Lakshmi Mataji said, it is to know because it's also the creation of the God. It's also creation of Krishna. So we should know about it, and whatever in this material world is, we should try to engage in Krishna's devotional service. And Prabhu told, this will be useful for discriminating from material to spiritual world. Okay, so here what is it given? Sambhutim, the eternal personality of Godhead, his name, form and pastimes, qualities and paraphernalia, right? Nam, Roop, Gun, Leela, right? So first comes his Nama. First we hear the name of the God, right? First, whenever we come across something, we first, some people, we first, what we do, we first ask, what is your name, right? First what we ask, we directly don't go to their personal life. First we want, what we ask, what we are eager to know, that's their name. Once we know their name, then we see them, right? If the person is not there, he's now, it's our online era. Okay, the person is not there, you just called him and he said, my name is so and so. Okay, then when you meet that person, that's form, you see, oh, this is how the person looks like. Then you comes to know about the qualities of that person. What all qualities does they have? What are the likes and dislike of that person? Then you come to know what is the pastimes, right? Pastime, that means here Lord's pastime, and ours activity, what he does, what kind of a job he does, at what time he or she goes to office, what time he or she has his lunch, dinner, and at what time he or she sleeps. So all these things are the pastimes. In the same way, first, now what is our realizations and the paraphernalia? Paraphernalia means what is surrounding to, or what is related, what are the surrounding that are related to such people. So first, in Krishna, even in knowing about the Lord, first we are only revealed to the name, right? Now we are only revealed to the name. Still the sweetness of the name is not there. The Shuddha Nam is not there. Once we attain the Shuddha Nam, we actually, the Nam Abhas itself is enough. Then comes the Shuddha Nam, then the form of the Lord is revealed to you. Then comes the pastime of the names, right? Rupa Goswami, the Goswamis, when they used to chant, they close their eyes and they go to Leela Smaran. But we are not in the stage of Leela Smaran, and we should not force our mind to tell that, oh, I'm chanting, or I'm chanting and saying Krishna in front of me. No, we are not in that stage. Don't force your mind, or sometimes mind forces you to see such things, but don't get bewildered by this, because we are not at that stage. We are just revealed to the name. We have so much aparadas in the name itself. We are in Nama Aparada stage. Then Nama Abhas, then Shuddha Nam, then the form is revealed to you by the Lord's mercy. If Krishna wishes, he will show the form to you, and then the pastime is revealed to you. That means you are living in this material world, but at the same time you can see what is Krishna doing in his Golok. That means the Goswamis used to see the Leela Smaran, and then comes the qualities of the Lord is revealed to you. Then the paraphernalia, you can see the paraphernalia also. The first four things, that's the Nam, Rupa, Guna, Leela. These are revealed to you by the Lord's mercy. Then comes the Vinasha, that means this material world. How is it? It is temporary. Lord's form, Lord's pastimes, Lord's qualities, Lord's name, Lord's paraphernalia are eternal, and this world is material, and this is the cause of Vinasha, that means the temporary. No one in contact with the material nature can be beyond the 6 laws of transformation. What are the 6 laws of transformation? Can anybody tell what are the 6 kind of changes we go through when we come to this material world? Yes, Neeraja Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. The first one is birth. Then the growth. Then the duration of the life, and old age, disease, old age, and death. Correct, Mataji?
Okay, how many you completed? First is birth.
Birth and the growth. And the duration of the life. Then disease.
Reproduction. First he reproduces byproducts.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Byproducts. And then old age.
Then he dwindles for some times and then dies.
Yeah. Dies. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Mataji. Yes, let's see here. So first is birth. Right? Birth starts from the day 1 inside the womb of a mother. Then comes the growth of the child inside the womb. Then maintenance. He maintains his body. The living entity maintains his body till the age he grows, right? The height grows, his brain, the intelligence grows for certain time, right? That the maintenance is going on. Then the production of byproducts. Then he creates some byproducts, then deteriorates, that means it dwindles, and finally death. And survive forever in this material world. So survive in the sense the living entities, they remain in this material world after what he does in this material world, and can never go back to Krishna if in this material world, because it's temporary here, and we go on going to one birth to another. Next is the but the scientists and the politicians are trying to make this world deathless. So many innovations are there. Why? Oh, I want to become deathless. But Prabhupada says, what kind of a modern science is this? They wanted to change so many things. They wanted to change the law of this universe, but then they could not even change the direction of the sunrise. They cannot even change the direction of sunrise. Sun rises from eternal time of from the time this world was made, from the time the sun is rising from the east and setting from the west. The scientists could not even change the direction of the sunrise and sunset. What they will change? Prabhupada was asking. And then he said, these people want to make this, they are atheists because they want to change the law of the Lord. Change the law of the Lord. So Lord can be approached only by unalloyed devotional service and not by process of jnana, karma, and moksha. Jnana, karma, and moksha, they cannot understand Krishna. The jnanis, karmis, and the Brahman aspect want to go to the Brahmas, the yogis. The karmis, they go to Swargaloka, includes sun planet and moon planet. Jnanis, they go to higher planets, that's the Maharloka, Tapaloka, Brahmaloka, from where they can illuminate this cosmic atmosphere of the spiritual sky, that is the Brahman or Vaikunta planet, according to their qualifications. Sometimes they reach to Vaikunta planet, but they cannot enter into it. They reach the outer gates, right? Who are the persons who reached Vaikunta door, but they could not go inside. No one can enter into the Vaikunta planet without being trained in devotional service. But sometimes this doubt may come that Durvasa Muni, he went till Vaikunta, right? He went, but then he did not stay. Why? because we know once you enter Vaikuntha, you cannot come back. But actually, the Durvasa Muni or Chatushkumaras, they did not go inside Vaikuntha, they were outside in the doorsteps. Once you enter, only by devotional service you can enter into Vaikuntha. Without that, you cannot. So here, whatever you try, why the Durvasa Muni was a yogi, and the Chatushkumaras were the Jnanis, the yogis, and Brahmavadis in between. In the before, they were Brahmavadis. They said Lord has no form, but then when they saw the form, they became devotees. Is the idea of merging and holding everything is one. Difference are as follows. So one is Mayavadis. They merge. Brahmavadis, that's the holding everything in is one. So there is difference. Mayavadis, there is no question of liking and disliking the truth. Prabhupada said it is there. If we want to be saved, we must take devotional service. Okay, the Shankaracharya, the form of God is Maya. Shankaracharya tells the form of God is Maya. Brahma, Satyam, Jagat, Nitya. They say that Brahma is the supreme Lord, the formless Lord is the supreme, and this world is Mithya. But then this world is temporary, but not false. It is there. They consider everything as the aspect of Maya, illusion, and even Krishna. Everything is Maya, right? The Mayavadis, illusion. Even Krishna's form is Maya. That is the greatest offense they do. And therefore, because this attitude, they fall down. They try to go away from this, the like and dislikes, but then smallest situation they fall down. Smallest situation they fall down. That's why they run to Himalayas. They don't want to be here because here they see everything is in Maya. They think that everything is in Maya. Actually, it is everything is in Maya, but devotees, they try to take this to Krishna. But Mayavadis, they try to run away. But as soon as they see or taste something, little bit in this material world, they fall down. They go far away from women, but as soon as they see women, the desire comes from their heart. That desire, right, comes from their heart, but then they are just falling down. The Brahmavadis, they are less I think antagonist. Why? Self-realized Brahmavadis from Srimad Bhagavatam, where Srila Shukadev Goswamis and 4 Kumaras. They were Brahmavadis. What does that mean? They consider everything Brahman, this world, Krishna, etc. They consider everything is Brahman here. This world, Krishna is Brahman, and everything is Brahman. So they consider, but they are better than Mayavadis because at least Mayavadis say everything is Maya. Here they say everything is Brahman. So here Shukadev Goswami, in beginning, he was acting like a Brahmavadis, and Chatushkumaras also were acting like Brahmavadis, but they like it, and because they got a chance to become self-realized devotees. So here, but then they got a chance, right? Why? When Chatushkumaras went to Vaikuntha doorsteps and they cursed Jai Vijay. After that, Lord Vishnu with Lakshmi, they came out just to see these devotees who were Brahmavadis. But then when they saw the beautiful form of the Lord with goddess of fortune, and they smelled the tulasi on the lotus feet of the Lord, they became the devotees. Why? They got a chance to be self-realized devotees, and they started doing devotional service. So here the conclusion is said that the devotees are the best among jnanis, karmis, and yogis. Right? Why? Ultimately, one can understand Krishna only by devotional service and nothing else. So, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. I'm just unmuting everybody. If you have any question, please raise your hands. One by one, we can take it.
Hare Krishna.